It pierces the New York City sky, a timeless monument of ambition and steel. For nearly a century, it has been a global icon, a movie star, and a beacon of hope. But have you ever wondered how the Empire State Building went from a risky, almost foolhardy 1920s gamble to one of the most profitable and enduring skyscrapers in the world? This is the story of how a building, born from rivalry and plagued by disaster, engineered its own success, not just once, but over and over again. Our story begins in the Roaring '20s, an era of unprecedented optimism and explosive growth. The stock market was soaring, and on the streets of Manhattan, a new kind of competition was taking shape, the race to the sky. At the heart of this battle were two titans of industry. John J. Raskob, a former executive at General Motors, was determined to erect the world's tallest building. His motivation was fueled by a fierce rivalry with his automotive competitor Walter P. Chrysler. As the magnificent Chrysler building neared completion, Raskob famously asked its architect William Van Allen, "How tall is it going to be?" When Van Allen demurred, Raskob knew he had to aim higher. He assembled a team, including former New York Governor Al Smith as the public face of the project, and the architectural firm Shreve, Lamb, and Harmon. Their mandate was simple: build higher and build faster. But the Empire State Building's designers had to outsmart strict building rules. New York's groundbreaking 1916 zoning resolution required tall buildings to have setbacks, receding tiers that would allow light and air to reach the streets below. This was a major constraint, one that could have resulted in a clunky, wedding cake-like structure. Instead of seeing it as a limitation, the architects turned these restrictions into the building's greatest aesthetic strength. They embraced the setbacks, using them to create a graceful, slender, and aspirational profile that seemed to rocket upwards from its 5-story base. It was a masterclass in turning a regulatory hurdle into an iconic design feature. To secure the title of world's tallest, the designers added a final, audacious flourish, a 200-foot spire. But this wasn't just for show. In a move that captured the futuristic spirit of the age, it was designed as a mooring mast for transatlantic dirigibles. The vision was that wealthy passengers would disembark from their airships 1,000 feet above Manhattan and take an elevator straight down into the city. The idea was ultimately abandoned as impractical and dangerous due to the powerful updrafts at that altitude, but the spire remained, giving the building its unforgettable crown and the height it needed to claim the record. With the design locked, the construction broke every record imaginable. The project was a marvel of logistics and efficiency, more akin to a Ford assembly line than a traditional construction site. Using revolutionary techniques like prefabrication and just-in-time material delivery, the building's steel skeleton began to climb at a dizzying speed. At its peak, the frame rose at an incredible pace of 4.5 floors per week. A workforce of over 3,400 people, including a legendary contingent of Mohawk ironworkers known for their fearlessness at great heights, swarmed the site. These sky boys became symbols of American grit and daring, their workplace 1,000 feet in the air with no safety harnesses. Their skill and bravery were essential to the project's unprecedented speed. In just 1 year and 45 days, a staggering 410 days from start to finish, this engineering marvel was complete, under budget, and ahead of schedule. On May 1, 1931, President Herbert Hoover officially opened the building, pressing a button in Washington, D.C. to symbolically turn on its lights. Standing at 1,350 feet tall, it was the new monarch of the skyline. But then came the Great Depression. The economic crash that began in 1929 had deepened into a national crisis. The grandest office building in the world opened its doors to a city where businesses were failing, not expanding. The result was a commercial disaster. It was initially nicknamed the Empty State Building. For years, less than a quarter of its office space was occupied. The owners resorted to having staff turn on lights on various floors to create the illusion of tenancy. The building was hemorrhaging money, but it had one saving grace: the observation deck. While businesses couldn't afford the rent, the public flocked to see the view from the top of the world. In its first year alone, the observatory generated about $1 million, which was roughly equal to the building's entire rental income. For nearly 2 decades, tourism, not tenants, kept the Empire State Building financially afloat. Then, in 1933, Hollywood made it famous worldwide. The film transformed the building from a piece of real estate into a mythical, romantic, and dramatic character in its own right. This cultural moment, combined with clever marketing, slowly began to change its fortunes. The building became a symbol not of failure, but of resilience. Its resilience was tested literally in 1945, when a B-25 bomber lost in thick fog crashed into the 79th floor. The impact tore a hole in the building and tragically killed 14 people, yet the structure itself held firm. The fires were extinguished in 40 minutes, and the building was open for business on most floors by the next working day. The incident, while horrific, became an unintentional testament to the tower's robust engineering. After World War II, as the American economy boomed, the building's fortunes finally turned. By the early 1950s, it was at last profitable and completely occupied with premium tenants. Today, this nearly 100-year-old skyscraper remains one of the most sought-after commercial addresses in the world. So how does it generate over $500 million in revenue each year? The strategy is multifaceted. The observation deck, now a multi-floor immersive museum experience, attracts over 4 million visitors annually, generating a massive portion of the income. Below, prime retail spaces and office leases to high-profile companies like LinkedIn and Shutterstock provide stable long-term revenue. Furthermore, its iconic spire is one of the most important broadcast antenna sites in the Western Hemisphere, leasing space to dozens of TV and radio stations. Its timeless Art Deco design is a major draw, but the building's owners know that beauty alone isn't enough to compete with brand-new glass towers. The secret to its modern success lies in continuous modernization and maintenance. In 2009, the building underwent a revolutionary $550 million retrofit, with a focus on cutting-edge energy efficiency. All 6,514 of its windows were refurbished on-site, rebuilt into triple-paned, insulated units that dramatically reduce heat loss and gain. Its elevators were upgraded with regenerative braking systems that capture energy on the way down, feeding it back into the building's electrical grid. These upgrades slash the building's energy consumption by nearly 40%, making it a global model for sustainable retrofitting. Smart building management systems now constantly monitor and optimize everything from air quality to energy use, while premium tenant services, including a 15,000 square foot fitness center and multiple conference facilities, have transformed it into a modern, high-performance workplace. The building itself has become a global brand, managed by the Empire State Realty Trust. Its image is a protected trademark, and its world-famous lighting system serves as a dynamic canvas, celebrating holidays, supporting causes and mourning tragedies, further cementing its role as a cultural touchstone recognized and celebrated around the world. Ultimately, the engineering choices made nearly a century ago, the over-engineered steel frame, the generous floor plans, the well-placed vertical shafts, created a framework flexible enough for continuous modernization. That original robust design is what allowed for the integration of modern HVAC, fiber optics, and advanced electrical systems without compromising the building's integrity. This incredible foresight, this blend of ambition and pragmatism, transformed a risky investment on the brink of failure into one of the most successful real estate assets in history. From a 1920s gamble born of rivalry to the empty state building of the Depression, to a billion-dollar empire that continues to reach new heights. The Empire State Building proves that great design, smart engineering, and visionary thinking can create legacies that not only last for generations but can also adapt, evolve, and thrive. It is more than just a skyscraper, it is a testament to the power of reinvention, a story of resilience written in stone and steel, forever etched into the heart of New York City.